Senator Harris, since Democrats have regained the majority in the U.S. House of Representatives, we've been hearing more about a Green New Deal to fight climate change. You have yet to fully endorse or reject it. Will you fully endorse the Green New Deal tonight?
I support a Green New Deal, and I will tell you why. Climate change is an existential threat to us, and we have got to deal with the reality of it. We have got to deal with the reality of the fact that there are people trying to peddle some idea that we should deny it, and they are peddling science fiction instead of what we should do, which is rely on science fact. I know what we need to do in terms of so much of what the plan has to be around investing in solar, in wind. I'll tell you that, and this gets back to also Kyle's point about jobs of the 21st century. The Bureau of Labor Statistics just came out in the middle of last year with a list of the top 20 jobs in the United States for which we're going to see the greatest amount of growth. And it's going to be a function of the fact that we need those jobs to be filled, and we don't have the skilled labor to fill them. Number one and number two on that list: installation and maintenance of wind turbines and solar paneling. And the reason it's on that list is because we need those jobs to be created and filled, because we need to be dedicated to that kind of work. And that's what a Green New Deal has to include. That's what we have to be about. And our planet is at great risk. And I think that the fact that we have policymakers who are in the pockets of big oil and big coal don't fully appreciate the fact that we are looking at something that is presenting an existential threat to our country. And listen, all children need to be able to breathe clean air and drink clean water. And we've got to have a commitment to a policy that will allow that to happen for ourselves and our children and our grandchildren. And right now we don't.
So that was her on a Green New Deal. On a Green New Deal. So a few things on this. Number one, I thought it was a good answer. You know, not going to lie. I think that was a good answer. I don't know why she didn't come out for it already, but, you know, she said the right thing. But you can't start. You cannot start with a Green New Deal or any of that stuff until you call for a ban on fracking. And as of now, Bernie Sanders is the only, he hasn't announced yet, is the only potential candidate that is calling for a ban on fracking. This is not because I've been to a bunch of pipelines and I'm passionate about it. This is because experts, environmentalists, climate scientists say fracking is an accelerant on already damaging carbon emissions and other chemicals going out into the air. You cannot talk about a Green New Deal, and obviously Jake Tapper is not going to ask her, but fracking is first and foremost, and as far as I know, she hasn't said anything about fracking. So she could talk about a Green New Deal, but this is as radical, technically, as saying we're going to end the private insurance industry. Well, you're not going to, you know, in one full swoop, end the private insurance industry. It's not like they're just going to, like, wave the white flag and be like, okay, Kamala. So fossil fuels are equally, if not more, entrenched in Washington, D.C., the lobbyist culture, the revolving door culture. So when you're talking about a Green New Deal, and tell you the truth, I could be wrong, so correct me if I'm wrong. I have also not heard Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez really laser in on fracking. So fracking needs to be banned because the methane from these hydraulic fracked gas pipelines, methane is worse for the climate and the environment than carbon emissions. And carbon is we all know, carbon dioxide, how damaging that is. So, you know, I'm happy she's talking about a Green New Deal, yet you can't really be, you know, Green New Deal without talking about fracking. The other thing that concerns me, and this isn't, by the way, only about Kamala Harris, but this is just in general. I tweeted this out earlier. You know, you could say you're for a Green New Deal, but, you know, why is your campaign, why is your super PAC donating to the likes of Joe Manchin and Heidi Heitkamp? So this is her super PAC. This is how much money they gave and to who in the 2018 political cycle. Tom Carper, look him up in Delaware, #1 donor to Tom Carper, Dow Chemical, who is one of the main corporate polluters out there. Then you got, she lost, but you had Heidi Heidkamp, who loves herself some big oil. You got Joe Manchin, down there, 10,000 Kamala Harris's super PAC gave to Joe Manchin. I mean, Joe Manchin, between the coal mining and fossil fuel money he's gotten. So this isn't only critiquing Kamala Harris, because she's not the only one who does this. Certain candidates like Kamala Harris, their super PACs give to other Democrats. But how are you for a Green Deal? How are you talking about the existential crisis of the planet, but you're basically, coordinating or funding other politicians that are causing that? Doug Jones, too. He's only been in the Senate thanks to running against a child pedophile, but he takes a lot of money from the fossil fuel industry. Tim Kaine has taken money from the fossil fuel industry. So this isn't, only on Kamala Harris, but you got to look at the numbers. Again, these are all very nice answers. But you gotta look at the money, and you gotta look at the context under them. If you're taking, you might not be taking corporate fossil fuel PAC money, but that doesn't mean you're not taking individual contributions from executives, which Beto O'Rourke, he broke the No Fossil Fuel Pledge because the No Fossil Fuel Pledge organization said he broke the pledge by taking individual contributions from fossil fuel executives. So, you want to say no corporate PAC money, well, you could still be taking individual money. And this is not, obviously this doesn't make Beto O'Rourke or Kamala Harris, the worst people in the world, but put your money where your mouth is. You're either asking for small dollar donations from environmentalists, from environmental groups, and progressives, or you're going to say, oh, well, I'm not taking corporate PAC money, but hey, individual executives, can you fund me? And by the way, same thing with the Green New Deal. You're not only, your super PAC is giving other senators money that take money from big oil, but you're begging Wall Street to fund you. Well, Bank of America, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan are all heavily invested in Dakota Access Pipeline, would be invested in Keystone Pipeline, Trans-Pecos Pipeline, Mountain Valley Pipeline, Atlantic Coast Pipeline, Rover Pipeline, Line 3. I mean, the list goes on. They're all invested in these natural gas and crude oil pipelines. So it's not just a straight line, oh, she's not taking fossil fuel money from corporate PACs. Well, you are taking money from banks. And this is not just Kamala Harris. This is not just Kamala Harris. Kirsten Gillibrand, same way. Cory Booker, same way. Joe Biden, same way. Julian Castro, same way. So it's not always a straight line. Hey, look if they're taking money directly from fossil fuel companies. Are you taking money from the banks investing in them? Are you taking money from executives and individuals that work for them? This is what I'm saying.